Hello everyone, my name's Daniel Van Gerpen and I'm an artist living and working in the Central Valley of California. Today I'm working on this still life painting of a bowl of pears. We had these pears sitting on our table. I was really intrigued by the colors, the warm colors of the pears against the warm color of the bowl, and just like the overall composition as I was walking by, and decided to create a painting of it. As I was setting up for this painting, I also opened up the blinds, and I was intrigued by the lines created by the blinds from the window, and so I left those in there as another interesting compositional element that I could add to this painting. I'm getting started with some charcoal. Today I'm working on watercolor paper and using oils, but getting started with some charcoal just to block in the general shapes and composition. And I started here with some R&F oil sticks. I really love the immediate color and texture that these oil sticks create, and just a great way to work quickly and not having to mix paint and think about that part of the process. I started here laying in some of the darker colors on the pears, getting a sense of some of the shadows and darker side of the pears. Then began adding some of the middle tones and the kind of the fleshy yellow color there of the pears. At this point, I'm just looking for general shapes of the colors inside of the pears, the lights and the shadows, just kind of generally laying those in. And here I begin adding the shadows and the darker areas of the bowl to kind of get a sense of my lights and shadows. So I have some of the lighter parts and the darker parts, and see how they are sitting on the page together. Here I start laying in the shadows created by the blinds. And I'm working in a looser style here. I want to get a sense of the objects and the shapes, but not an exact representation. So here I kind of exaggerated where the edge of the bowl was in regards to the shadows and the highlights there on the edge of the bowl. So after adding that general color of the bowl up, here I'm going back with a green. I really love the way that the dark green mixed with the reddish umber created a color that was great for the shadows there. Instead of going black, I wanted something a little bit warmer and more neutral. Here I'm adding a couple of the stems that the pears had. You can only see a few of them, but I wanted to give them, you really get the sense of the fruit, or it being a pear as the stems are there instead of just some abstract shapes. Now I'm letting in the shadow from the bowl on the table. Add a little bit of blue to create a cooler shadow. This was a dark indigo blue. Another element that I wanted to bring into this painting was the lines of the tablecloth. I love the neutral color of the white and gray, and thought that would be a nice way to add some interest to the background without being too overpowering. I also wanted to add some of the warmer highlights from the sunlight coming through the window, so I added some yellow here to give a little bit more warmth to the just stark white. And after looking at it for a while, I felt like the lines were a little bit too distracting. So here I'm taking a palette knife to pull off some of the color to make it a little more subtle. And I found the texture to be a little more stark, so I added some white with a palette knife to kind of knock back that texture to make it a little more subtle in the background. And it also provides a nice visual interest with the change in textures. And I also tried to pull in some of that white into the bowl to kind of blend or soften that edge even more to make it a gentler transition from the bowl into the background. also wanted to blur that edge between the bowl and the table in the shadow area. So here I am blending that in a little bit. I still wanted to have that edge visible, so I scraped it in. It's another way to add a little bit more visual interest by having different types of marks. And I have the texture of the oil sticks, and then the palette knife scraping, and then also just the scratching. It's a little bit of visual interest, another line that's different than other marks, just create some interest. And I carve in and smooth out and push and pull to find a balance so that the marks are sitting there, but I also don't want to be too distracting in the shadow there. Now I'm going back and adding some more highlights into the bowl, just make it a little bit lighter. There's that bright pop in the back of the bowl there that I wanted to draw out a little more to really highlight that contrast between the shadow and the light. Adding some more white and light colors to the edge here. I wanted to soften that right edge of the bowl as it was so close to the edge of the paper. I wanted to soften it so it wasn't drawing too much attention to the edge of the painting. I wanted the painting in the middle of the pears and the bowl to be the main focus. Just adding a few touches. Thanks for tuning into this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Maybe you learned a little something. I hope you joined me for the next one. Thank you.